I'm Preshy An, and nice to meet you. So basically, I'm many things, really. Sometimes I don't even like to say that I'm one thing because it sort of puts me in a box. But you can call me passionate or a multi passionate creative. And my main purpose or my main source of motivation is to inspire people around me and even younger people to be better, especially if they're creatives and they're starting from scratch to, be better through systems, structures, what to do to be actually able to grow and learn and evolve. For me, I think it all stretches back to my upbringing. I grew up with parents who are creative in their own sense, even though they didn't really understand what creativity was. My dad could draw, and my mom has these organizational skills. So it just kind of molded me to be who I am today. But I've always known that I'm someone who kind of attaches creativity to everything that I do. I don't know how to be basic. I don't know how to be normal. There always has to be a touch of, something, some color, something extraordinary. So yeah, it has always been attached to everything that I do, right from childhood. But now it has become more formative because I feel like true true impact, true influence comes from being able to impact people. So and knowing that this is where my strength lies, I decided to, share that with the world and impact people who are like me, creative, starting out from scratch, from humble homes and just helping them to be better. I feel like um all these both content, fashion, communication, maybe not communication, but content and fashion. Or let's just start with fashion. My mom is a very stylish person, and in fact, I used to like steal some of her outfits or her clothes to just wear and rock anytime I'm coming to school. And sometimes she would just like get materials, even though she doesn't use them. She would just keep them just for collecting sake, and it kind of also shaped how I choose the kind of things that I wear, the colors I pick, the patterns I wear, like those little combinations. It was a skill I learned right from a child. So me expressing that now is just like me drinking water. It's just something I know how to do. And then that extended to content because now I think one of the most common ways to express yourself in this generation is through content. Before it was drawing and it was not really seen then, so I kind of just let that slide. And now I just feel like I have my creativity expands towards creating content, editing content, and then for communication, I honestly did not know how to communicate properly up until last year after a convention that I attended. Sorry, a boot camp I attended. Um, I understood then that communication is a skill that you must learn if you're a creative, how to talk, how to listen, how to ask questions. And I just felt like to be better, you actually have to do the talking. And then I just infused that into my content. So I'm not just showing how pretty my outfit looks. I'm also trying to speak using words to impact people because you can't impact people if you do not use words, right? So man shall not live by bread alone, but by words. So words are important. Words are important, and I think that's how I was able to like match these three things into one thing that you know remains consistent throughout my brand story. I talk a lot about purposeful living because I feel like we are humans, and if you really think about it, every human that is born must die. Everyone must die, and because death is inevitable, humans just look for a way to have a fulfilling life, and they look for purpose even though it does not there is no there is no um there is no need for it, but there's a need for it because I mean humans would rot without purpose. So for me, purposeful living every day looks like waking up and adding something to my life that takes me one step further on my own journey. And that journey also looks like impacting people. It's always with people. I just have this interest with people, understanding people. That's why I also ventured into communication. So every day At least I learn something every day through podcasts or videos, YouTube. In fact, one of the people I follow very much is Salem because he's someone I look up to. I can say that um he's my mentor, my aspirational mentor. Um, I also watch Creatorium and other people I like. Leila Homozi, she's someone I really look up to as well. So that's what an everyday look like for me. I also read. I try to read an article because yeah, in a generation where content is now everywhere and it's easy to like get distracted because you're looking for the next best thing, something that can quickly satisfy your dopamine addiction. So reading is a very boring thing to do, but I realize that the more I read, the more it's better for me to speak, because I come across new words. I come across how to even merge new words to sound good and to even speak sense, to read other people's perspectives. And I also learned that reading doesn't even have to be a chore. You can just read what interests you. It might not be non-fictional stuff all the time. It could be stories of people because that's what interests me. I like to read people's stories. So that's how I also like include purposeful living in my everyday life. Another would be working out. I take my fitness very seriously because I look at my mom and someone our African moms don't work out, even our African dads don't work out, but I see how she kind of struggles to move, and also I just feel like if you want to be very mobile at the age of 50, you have to be intentional about moving in your early 20s. So that's what I'm doing as well, among a lot of others. But I think these are the main three I can talk about. I believe that I believe that environment really shapes the way someone behaves, the behavior of a person. I think it was in James Clear's book Atomic Habits where he was saying that um if you want to change a particular habit, you have to look for an environment. You either optimize your environment to be able to make you do that habit, or you move to an environment that appreciates that habit. So that just goes ahead to express that your environment is very important. I was opportunity to actually have a dad who kind of supports everything that I do. Even though he doesn't understand it, he kind of supports it because I feel like deep down he's an artist, so he understands. And having that kind of background support really does a lot for you as a creative, and that extends to when I came to uni. And even though like it was hard to find my feet around what I wanted to do, I still feel like people always noticed that there was something different about me. And because of that label, oh, there's something about Precious, there's something about Preshy. I just i just had this knowing that okay, there's something about me. And then right now, how I feel like the environment shapes how I create is because I've noticed that there's a problem in Oka where like creators are not really like there are not much platforms for creators to learn, to grow, to thrive, to expand beyond where they are now. There are platforms for creators to connect, yes. There are platforms for creators to vibe and network, but there are not much platforms for them to grow. And I feel like because of that problem, that has shaped the way I create, and it kind of just pinpointed where I can be useful, which is why I talk a lot about my creative process, how I started from scratch, the things that you are most likely going to face if you're starting from scratch as well. I talk about those things and I connect people with the right people. Let's say someone wants to learn editing. I have people who knows how to edit and they teach about it as well. I have people who know how to do some certain things and they teach about it. So it's easy for me to connect people as well because of that very need. There are a lot of challenges that a creative is most likely going to face. I'm going to speak in my own experience. For me, it was people, you know. I think when I was just starting out, I used to like dress up, and because what I used to wear was not like conventionally acceptable, and I would walk on the road. People would be like, "Nay, okay, is everything all right?" It's easy for people to bring you down, especially when you live around those people, because their mentality is most likely going to affect how you think as well, which is why environment plays a part. So um people will always find a way to make you feel like your vision or what you are seeing is not normal. And if you are someone who easily falls or bends to the will of people, it's going to be hard for you to thrive. So, one of the things that will challenge you as a creative is what people will say. So, if you care about that a lot, I don't think you are going to go far. But if you don't, you are going to move further than the usual person. And then the next is money. Money is a big challenge because creativity requires money to actually express itself. So, but also there's a way around it. You know, creativity also without money, creativity can still thrive. But funds, if there were funds, things would be easier. Money makes creating easy, but that doesn't also stop you from creating because you know you can improvise. That is where your actual creativity comes in. You have to learn how to improvise. You have to know people with those resources that you need. You have to understand how to communicate with those people. You have to understand relationships. Like there's a lot, but money is really one of them. For me, when I see Salem King and I see the way he lives his life, even beyond what he teaches. I see the way he lives his life with his wife. I see his relationship with his team at Creatorium. I'm just I'm inspired. I'm inspired beyond beyond just wanting to have the kind of knowledge that he has or wanting to like experience what he has experienced. I I hope to actually make an impact like Salem. And if at all, like I encounter someone and they get impacted by me, at least I want them to believe that you can be something. If you are coming from a home that it was hard for you to do a lot of things because your parents were not really able to go far and push you that far, I want you to know that like nothing can stop you. All you need to do is go through it and tell your story, right? Tell your story and impact other people, and that's how it works. And I just want I want everyone who encounters me to know that you can, whatever you put your mind to do, you can do it regardless of what anyone thinks about it. Even if you are 35 and you are doing a particular work that everybody knows you for, it's okay to pivot, it's okay to change direction, it's okay to explore. And I think that's what I want anyone who gets to be impacted by me goes home with on the long run.